Hey, Eli here. Today I want to talk to you about a camera I don't have in my hand, but I've had a couple times in my hands. The Leica Q2. I bought it twice and sold it twice. It's always a camera I go back to once I start looking at the images that I created from it. I have, I think, Apple TV, I have a bunch of images that pop up that are personal images, and every time like a Leica Q image pops up, I just think, man, it's amazing. Such a great camera. Image quality is just outstanding, and it's easy to use. It's fun. It has very few limitations other than it being, a fixed lens. But yeah, so I just want to kind of like just talk about it as I walk through some images and show you some personal images, and then I also took it on some jobs where I used it as like a, just a fun camera. But yeah, let's jump in here. We'll just start out with some personal images. My daughter at the dinner table, I think this camera is just, it's such a clean image. Of course, these are all edited with presets that I've played with over the years, but the resolution's insane. Black and whites are amazing out of it. The lens is just so sharp, and being at 1.7 on a 28 millimeter, you really can get some separation if you use it right. And then you can also use the crop mode to get to 35 millimeter. Just shows you little bars on the sides. But then when you get it into Lightroom, you're going to see that it'll crop it for you. But I just love the colors and the skin tones out of this camera. It's been great for traveling, for trips. Times when I don't want to think about what I have in my bag. I don't want to think about lenses. It's extremely light, extremely small. And yeah, just use it to capture trips and day to day even, just leaving the living room. And so just gonna bump through here, get really close. You can even go into macro mode and get closer, but yeah, just love the color and the sharpness out of this thing. I mean, I have just so many good memories with this camera. And just cruising around, just gonna speed through these, just getting breakfast. Back to that one. Doesn't always hit focus, but with that many megapixels, you can sharpen it up. And at the beach, yeah, you can shoot vertical, and it's very little distortion in the center, and you can crop quite a bit with this 47 megapixels, if I remember right. And here's some 6400 ISO. Not the best, but you turn it into a black and white. The grain is really kind of cool. It's not horrendous. 4000 ISO. I'll have this one. And you can hand it off to anybody, and just it's pretty smart when it comes to faces. It's pretty easy to use. I usually set it to auto ISO, and then I set my aperture and my shutter on the dials. But yeah, I love the colors out of this camera. I mean, I'm probably never going to use, full Leica system just because I can't afford it, but I can see why people do. Yeah, see, she's far away. It's such a great lens. Love this shot here. 4000 ISO, that's pretty good. Portland, and just, yeah, beautiful, beautiful images. Here in Nashville, I took it with me to Nashville with a buddy. And we just messed around on scooters and traveled around the state just to see it. Jack Daniels. Yeah, most anyone can use it. 6400 ISO is going to be your limit. But it's, you can shoot indoors at 4000, no problem. And you can get crazy bokeh if you want it, if you want to get close, and even there. Downtown Nashville. I don't know what this is for, but yeah, 2000 ISO, looking pretty clean. And pumpkin patch. Good buddy Chip. Photo of me. Yeah, I love these colors, man. Just beautiful. And then, yeah, Colorado on a super trampoline. Some nice window light, just extremely sharp, extremely clean, like not over sharpened, just like you know the lens is sharp. I mean, that lens is amazing. And just cruising through Colorado. Here we are in Hawaii. I took this to Kauai as my only camera, and don't regret it at all. It was perfect. And this is just a really horrible flashlight as far as color rendition, but you know, it's fun. And even the kid can use it. She was 4 at the time. Or yeah, 3. She was 3 years old. Yeah, she used the camera. And I just keep this image is crazy. And I don't know what it was, if it was just the light or the camera or both. But man, look at that. Just crazy. You know, Hawaii does have amazing sunsets, but perfect. Look at that. Super sharp. Just beautiful. You can make a full art gallery with this camera. And so, yeah, I mean, probably wondering why I sold it. I ask myself that all the time. Here's a little bit of other stuff, some macro mode. But yeah, partially I think why I sold it was I was getting a little frustrated because my little girl was, you know, she doesn't hold still. And so the autofocus is a little slow. And so, you know, you can get a little frustrated with that where like kids are moving around, it's not catching her. So I'm like, well, maybe I should just, you know, try a different system or just use my Canon camera, you know, when I'm photographing the kid or family. And then I sold it and then I went back, bought it again and sold it again. But yeah, I also want to jump into some other images I used for work. I took this on an elopement as, you know, a third camera, and I just tried to side-by-side document, you know, that elopement with this camera just a little bit. So we'll jump through that, and you can see how that worked out. So here's a night portrait, and then portrait up on the mountains. And one of my favorite images I took with a Canon, I also took with this one, and just beautiful, you know. There. Yeah, lovely sunset. It just looks like I went to f2 on this shot. Out of focus. That one's in focus. The actual sunset on the mountains. And there they are down there. And the ceremony, 0.7. Just a little motion blur. I was a little too slow on that shutter. It does have image stabilization in the lens, but you know, it's not amazing. It does work, but it was a little shaky. Probably trying too hard here. Yep, and then the hike up. So I think with this camera, if you have the time, you can really get some cool stuff. If you're not in a rush, you're going slow, you don't need quick autofocus. The autofocus is great, it's just not quick. But yeah, so initially before I bought Leica Q2, I went to rent one, and a couple years ago, I rented one, and I guess it broke before they could ship it. So they sent me like a Q. So I kind of want to go through those images too. I use that to document a trip that I just love the images from. So went to Palm Springs. I think this was in 2021, beginning of 2021. And so I'm going to jump in here just and show you that trip to Palm Springs. And yeah, Palm Springs is a beautiful place. So, you know, it fit perfectly. So here we are, head to the airport. And 2021, masks everywhere. This was March, close to spring break, and head out to the airplane. The kids' big plane rides. And here we are in Orange County hanging out with family. Oops. And so handing it off, the Leica Q, I think it's around 26 megapixels, something like that. I can't remember offhand, but which is plenty. But you know, slower autofocus and I think one less button, if I remember right, and not weather sealed. But still, I mean, great camera. Love the colors out of this camera. Just gonna jump through these, hand it off to my brother. Worked great. And just beautiful light, but then also beautiful colors. It's fun. You can be inside and just shoot with no flashes or anything. Yeah, just you get to have fun, be creative with one lens. And yeah, just super sharp. This was, I think, in one of the crop modes, so you're gonna see as we get to Palm Springs, the colors really shine. Coffee. And then yeah, so we're headed out to our hotel. So lots of color here, lots of fun, and just was perfect for the scene. Yeah, there you go. It's Palm Springs for you. Really fun. Back at the pool, lobby. And this is weird, but it's fun. See all the colors there. Just running through here. Yeah, I went to like a little cactus farm, and yeah, hummingbird living here. It's fun cactus. Yeah, really cool. And went to dinner at the workshop. This is kind of fun, just cropping a wide image. I mean, the distortion is so minimal on that 28. Just, yeah, so clean. And yeah, I was playing around with some masking tools. My brother hung out with us, stole my sunglasses. Yeah, I think the Q it's super fun too, you know. Either way, Q or Q2, they're both great. And of course the Q is going to be cheaper now. But yeah, it was definitely a challenge. This kid, when she was this age, my kid, she was a little more attentive to like getting her photo taken, and then she got to a mode where she's like, okay, I'm over it, you know, which I understand. Yeah, super fun out in Joshua Tree. And then that was it. So yeah, I think either way, the Q and the Q2 are very similar. Colors render a little bit different on each, but they're both so beautiful. You know, I'm always, every time I look at these images, I go back to eBay and start looking at Qs. And so I think one thing to consider if you're going to buy one, make sure you get the box. It's easier to resell it. And then consider buying it and reselling it like a rental. You're going to pay a lot less. You just have that investment of like $4,000, $4,500. If you have that to invest and, you know, buy it and you can resell it, you know, it's going to hold its value until the Q3 comes out, which, you know, I think will be maybe this year, but who knows, you know, according to rumors. But yeah, one thing that I would hope that the Q3 would have is a USB-C port. That'd be nice. That is one thing that the charger is like $275. I mean, you could buy a Nitecore charger that's cheaper, but yeah, you're just kind of stuck with lugging around this big charger. So it'd be nice to just plug it in when you're traveling to USB-C and just not think about it. So yeah, those are my thoughts on that. I think it's an amazing camera. If you've got one, leave in the comments, rate it from 1 to 10, how much you like it, how much you use it. I think it's just an amazing camera, and I'm always looking for a deal on one. You know, I'm always also trying to try out other cameras like the, you know, the Fuji cameras to see if those suit that need. But the Q is just so simple and small. Q and Q2 that I think it's just, they're amazing. If you haven't tried one, rent one or buy one and resell it. So, yeah. All right. Hope you have a good day.